All right, so I want to go over connecting to that repair services database and the steps involved. You can, for the homework 6, you could actually do tutorials 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get you to basically build the database from scratch. What I like to do is use the code from the module 7. So I'll open up the code, I'll download it, get in there, and we're going to use this particular project that gets us close to, it's basically the starter code for 5 to 6. It does tutorials 5.1 through 5.5 for us. Again, you could do those by, you could just follow along in the book and do those from scratch, but we didn't ask you to do that in the homework. So I'm going to go copy this directory out of the zip file and go out there to my Explorer, and we'll just go out there to our temp directory, anywhere on my C drive, and I'll create a folder. We'll call this DB Demo for homework 6, and I'm going to paste that starter code. Then I'm going to go into the starter code and find the project file. That's the file that Visual Studio needs to start up. So there's our .vb.proj file. So let me go ahead and double click on that, and that'll open up the starter code. Yes, I trust it. Visual Studio is warning me about the security. I downloaded it from the internet, so I had to say yes, I trust it from, download it from a known source. Now there's that Repair Services database that the starter code got us started with, as well as the Repair Services dataset file, the XSD file. If I go and click on the Repair Services database, it's going to give me a complaint that it's an older file. I've got the latest version. This is an older version. So we need to fix that. So a couple things we can do, a couple things we need to do. One is, now that I've double clicked on it, if I go over here to my Server Explorer, it's going to be there, but it's got this X. It doesn't know how to connect to it. It's an older file. So I'm going to right click on that, go to modify the connection, and under advanced, I'm going to look at the settings. So a couple of settings I got to address here. One is the data source. It's set up to use the old SQL Express version. And if you have that, then this would be okay. I don't. I've got the latest version. I've got the LocalDB version. So I'm going to change the current setting to LocalDB. That's one thing I have to do. If I say okay to that, it's not quite enough. It's going to cry. It's going to say, hey, I need to update it. I'd say, yes, I would like to update it. But then I'm going to get this error message about the user instance flag not being allowed. So that's another property I've got to go change. Right? By default, it's set to true. I need to set that to false. So let me go back into advanced, back to the property. We fixed the data source, but the other one we need to fix is this user instance. So change it from the default to false. Now that we've got the data source updated and we've got the user instance updated, we'll say okay to that, say okay to that. It's going to, again, try to upgrade the database to the newest version. That's exactly what I want. I'm going to let it go ahead and do that. Notice the X goes away. I can now look at the different tables. I can see what data is in appointments, what data's in customers, what data's in repair types. So there's all the different data in those databases. If I double click now on my XSD file, if I'd done that before, I would have got some error messages. But now that I'm connected, I can go in here, I can configure these. Allows me to run the query builder, execute some sample queries. The data's coming back now. So we feel real good that, not only are we connected to our database, but our XSD file is behaving as we would expect. So that's it in a nutshell, how to get started with, downloading the starter code, updating the database to the latest version by changing those two properties again. What we did is we went to our data source in Server Explorer. We went to the Modify Connection, the Advanced section, and we updated the data source to the LocalDB, and we changed the user instance to false. So hopefully this helps. Let me know. Thanks.